One. Good afternoon. Are you Adam, correct?
Yes, I am.
It's nice to meet you. My name is Ariana Kenya. We've been speaking through email.
Oh yeah, I remember you. You're the one with Loves, I believe, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great to see you. Especially even in this digital format. I'm sure you're busy, so I appreciate you even fitting me into your schedule, even in this format.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, I was supposed to be at the office today, but I ended up having construction outside, so I had to be home to kind of monitor that.
Oh, that's completely understandable. Um, Especially considering how I've heard that you're recently planning on looking into an extension with your company under your father. I,
Yes, we're looking at more of North Florida, maybe Central Florida later on, but right now I believe it's just North Florida we're aiming at, and we're trying to kind of in a sense separate from them but still be, I want to say, be part of them, but I'm a little unfamiliar with how Loves works. So I will be honest, I'm a little hesitant because I do know you guys use my father uses you, so
Mhm.
I'm trying not to what do I say, I don't want to take too many of his assets. I kind of want to build my own name in a sense.
Yeah, that completely makes sense. But before we get started, I was just wondering if that 15 to 20 minutes was still okay for us to kind of go into the nitty gritty about loves and how we could possibly help you out.
Yes, that's fine. They should be fine out there for a while.
Okay, sounds great. And so through this meeting, we'll be talking about, helping you learn more about what Loves does and what we could do for you as a company. And then if there's anything else that you would like me to add on to the agenda, I would love to get your insight on that before we get started. That way I can make sure to cover it before we end the call.
Okay, I appreciate that. So far I believe we're good.
Okay. And do you mind if I take a moment to ask some questions and then jot down any notes for
Oh yes,
the
please do.
conversation?
Please do.
Okay, awesome. So some of the things that we like to ask our potential partners is trying to get an idea of the timeline that you guys are expecting to follow through. So that way, if we are to move forward, we're able to move forward at the same pace as you.
Right. The timeline, we're trying to do it slow and kind of patient in that sense. So the timeline's pretty wide open. We want to try to get it between 6 to 8 months, the 8th month period being where we're finished, but between 6 and 8 months is where we're looking at right now.
Okay. And has there been any kind of like concerns that have been bothering you in regards to that 6 to 8 months? I know a lot of people in this industry sometimes have some concerns when they're moving into different areas across the states.
Right. The biggest one right now, I think, we are dealing with some situations, and I think the biggest ones right now are just, I would say, having a company credit card, because we're trying to get away from that because one, all the credit cards are technically out of state right now. So the billing is kind of mismatched when it comes to getting the receipts and who's getting the receipts and if they're actually using it for the correct purpose. And then the other situation we're having is just basically trying to keep them happy because of course Florida is a little bit hotter
Mhm.
and the morale kind of tends to go down when the for instance, if the AC is broken and they pull into a truck stop
Mhm.
and they aren't able to get adequate showers or any of that, they get kind of angry.
Okay, yeah, no, I completely get that, especially when we were originally maintaining that relationship with Brown Transportation. Your father's company was encountering those type of issues as well. Um, but when you think about these problems that you're contemplating right now when it comes to your expansion, have you thought about any potential solutions of how you would like to fix that, or are you still on the drawing board?
We're still looking at the drawing board right now. I know one of the things I want to try to do is figure out a way to make the employees a little bit happier, boost their
Mhm.
morale in that instance. And then the other thing is just trying to, like I said, we're looking at different options on how to shuffle the paperwork back and forth. So when they get
Okay.
receipts, how we can get them easier as far as the billing goes.
Okay. And if this was to be unable to be solved, what are the potential setbacks you could be experiencing when it comes to beginning your company in North Florida?
Some of them probably would, I would say the majority of them would probably be late shipments due to the fact if employees were to get angry and leave, or the conditions were that for them weren't satisfactory, they'd end up leaving, which would cost us money. And then we'd have to hire someone new, possibly train them, things like that. And as far as the paperwork process goes, it would just be a kind of a bottleneck. We'd end up spending more time than necessary trying to figure out how to incorporate all that. So it would, it would put probably about 4 more hours of work on me trying to figure out where everybody's at
Mhm.
paperwork wise.
Okay. So from what I'm understanding, you want to, have a system that allows you to kind of congregate all of your information all at one spot to make it easier for not only your employees, but also your drivers, and also increase driver morale. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And so if Loves was able to help do that for you, what type of benefits would you be hoping to get out of from that?
Well, I'd be hoping to get we'd hope to get like a lifelong partnership out of it, and hopefully it would improve that where we can expand and hiring more drivers. That way, we could potentially make more money as well.
Okay, yeah. So I do think that there are some things that love can provide to help address some of the concerns that you have. And I would love to tell you a little bit about them. And then if you have anything that you would like to address clarification on throughout me presenting them, you can feel free to ask questions or concerns about that, and I can address them. And if they're of any value to you, then we could talk about possibly setting up another meeting in the future.
Okay, that'll work for me. I would like that.
Okay, so give me one moment. I'll begin to share my screen with you so you could see the flyer. But the first thing that I do want to show you is something called the Driver's Benefits Program. Can you see my screen?
Yes,
Okay,
I can see it.
okay. So this is our flyer for our Driver's Benefits Program. At Love's, we're known for being a family business, and we like to consider everybody a part of the family. So we have a down to up approach. So this also extends into our partnerships. So when we have partner with businesses such as yours, you usually pay for gas by going through our gas stations. And while you're doing that, when you buy up to 50 gallons at a time, the drivers also get a pass to use a shower 7 days a week. So
Okay.
there's a rewards program going in action as you purchase gas, the drivers earn benefits. So they're able to take care of laundry, having space for parking, and having, to go hot and deli options and different things that help make sure that they're as comfortable as possible when they're away from home and on the road. So this is a great way that a lot of companies that we've worked with enjoyed, because it's a way for them to give back to their employees in a way that is hard to maintain, especially when they're on the road. When they're on the road, they're usually away from, their company branches, and they can't stop in between. So this is a good way for them to be able to monitor and make sure that their drivers are being taken care of,
Okay.
especially since a lot of times in different companies, they have the responsibility of taking care of those types of things like getting food and hygiene and things like that. The other thing I would like to share with you is that what comes along with our tire pass package. And like when you do this benefits program, every time that you purchase gas, there's an RFID chip that is taped onto the driver's windshield. So if you're familiar with highway pass systems such as ePass or City Pass, it has a similar technology where when you pull below under the monitor system on top, at each fuel pump, we have a system on top. So when the driver pulls up, the card is red and then it pulls up the associated account, which means that it makes it hard for you or other employees to have other people that aren't associated with the company to earn any type of mileage or gas from another car. So it keeps it very secure since it reduces the liability of losing credit cards and having potentially the exchange of credit cards from truck drivers. And another thing from that is that instead of you getting billing separate every time you have a transaction, what we do is very similar to opening a tab. So every time you create a transaction, it gets listed into a tab. And then at the end of the month, you'd receive that bill, which would have a summary of all your purchases, allowing for you to keep track of all of your bills all in one spot.
So the office would get that paperwork in like an email fashion.
Yes, and we could also discuss having it printed out and doing it paper if that is a preference as well. But we
Okay.
do remain conscious because some people prefer to have that, electronic style, but we're open to doing either way. So this program would allow you to do both kind of congregating all of your bills into one spot and also being able to help keep up the morale for your employees.
I like that. Those are the two biggest concerns I have. The one thing I want to bring up though is would my because I know we're branching out from my father.
Mhm.
Would he wouldn't receive any of this information, right? It would just come straight to us, right?
Well, if it's an extension and it has a completely separate address, and we can make sure that we have it sent to the two different parties. Um, of course, if you potentially did want it to be sent to the parent company, we can do it that way. But usually, according to protocol, we send it to the branches separately. That way, they are able to keep track of it in each department.
Okay, so we can keep it to ourselves. He doesn't need to know about this.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that part.
This sounds good, of course. And I'm keeping track of that as well. So when we go into potentially talking further about that, I'll be able to, document that for when we do presentations any further.
I appreciate that.
And is there any other concerns that you have? Do you think that you'd be willing to possibly go further with this partnership? Or are there any concerns that you have?
There's no concerns I have right now. I may think of some down the road, but I think we can work those out when the time comes, maybe the next meeting. But other than that, I'm fine with everything I've seen here today.
Okay, and I did want to ask, when it comes to the decision making, I know you are in this currently planning stage for the extension. So, what does your team look like right now? Do you have a team established already?
Well, I would probably want to just get my HR personnel on board just to go over some fine details about the employee morale and what they think of that of the rewards program and how we can use that towards our advantage. But other than that, that's about it. It's just going to be me and possibly the HR.
Okay. Well, it sounds like we are in a good place, and I would love to schedule another meeting with you and your HR director to see if there's anything that we can do to help optimize and make sure that this plan is best for you guys.
That works for me. I'm on board with it.
Okay. Um, so how soon would you like to meet? And the next week, the next month?
I'm available next. I want to say next Thursday. Next Thursday, I'm available.
Okay. Do you have a preference in between daytime or in the afternoon?
No, I don't. Well, probably daytime at this point. At this point right now.
Okay. How about Thursday at 9:30? Does that work?
9:30, that would be great. I can take
Okay.
care of that as soon as I come into the office. We can have our meeting and then I can have a chat with HR afterwards and figure everything out.
Sounds good. And we do need to make a meeting place since I haven't been to the office. Do you have a place that you prefer for me to meet you when it comes to this meeting, or will we
Oh,
have to do it virtual?
no, we can do the office. I can send you the coordinates, the address and map to the facility.
Okay, sounds good. And I would just be going to your office, correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. I really appreciate your time today. I'm glad that we were able to talk about some possible solutions for your expansion. It's so exciting to see you carrying on and expanding your company.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to it. It's kind of exciting to expand on my own, and I'm kind
Mhm.
of glad I'm doing it now, um, as opposed to later. But I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what else we can do to establish a relationship here. Thank you.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, like you've been working with your father for a long time, so this is really a time for you, I think, to be able to show how much you've learned over the years. I know when I was helping my father in a small business, when I was ready to move on, I started with my own plans as well. So I feel like I kind of resonate with wanting to have things separated from my your family's company.
Oh yeah, it's definitely time I grew my wings and kind of flew off on my own adventures. Don't get me wrong, I love my dad and everything we've worked on together, but like I said, it's time for me to leave the coop, as you say.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, I get that. Okay. So I will send a follow-up email with a summary of the things we've talked about today. And then leading up closer to the event, I'll send another email just to check and make sure that our meeting time is still okay and convenient for you. And if all of that is good, I will prepare a presentation for you and HR, and I will see you in the office next Thursday.
all right, I appreciate it. I look forward to it. Thank you again.
Looking forward to it as well. I hope you have a great day.
Thank you. You too.